Hello, good morning and welcome. Happy birthday. Welcome to the first day of the rest of your life. Your life is just like a car. I will explain more on that a little bit later on. But yeah, changing gears, brake lights, alarms, lights on the dashboard. We'll talk about all that stuff a little bit later on. So there you go. Enjoy that when we come to it. However, happy birthday first of all. Welcome to the first day of the rest of your life. Every day is your birthday, and yes, why wait to start living a life you love? Why not start today? And today I'm also going to talk about how to become ace. You may notice I'm in a slightly different place here. It's a bit of a weird angle. I'm not sure I like it that much. For those of you who are regular viewers, the slide that is normally over my left shoulder, that's where I'm standing. I'm at the top of the slide right now. It's just for a bit of fun. But first of all, I want to say happy birthdays to the people whose actual real birthdays it is today. There's a couple of interesting people on here today. And let me just double check, because I think I've got an extra one. Yes, I thought I had. We're going to have Andy Phillips and Jane McCarthy, who I don't particularly know very well. So happy birthday to you guys. I'm not sure where I know you from, but hey, by the way, for anybody who I've ever mentioned on these things, tell us below what you do and what we can buy from you. One in particular I know probably will jump at this right if she even sees it. We'll see. Kevin Bakari, God, I don't even know how to pronounce your surname. Anyway, Kevin, you know who you are. I met you on the Camino. We walked the Camino de Santiago together, and I've just realised my clock stopped running, so I'm going to have to finish a little bit earlier just to make sure I finish on time, under the 10 minutes, which I didn't do yesterday. Yes, we walked the Camino, the last little bit of the Camino together. So, hello, Kevin. Hope you're having a lovely, happy birthday today. Of course, you live in America, so it'll be 5 o'clock in the morning for you at the moment on the East Coast. Then Ausra, I'm not quite sure how we pronounce your name. Met you in the south of France a couple of years ago. South of Spain, near Malaga, and that was fun. Yes, it's been nice watching your life through Facebook, I guess. So happy birthday to you anyway. Hope you're having a lovely day. And then last but no, and Aynsley Demery as well, who I know through Cheltenham, accountant, bit more than accountant, more of a business financial strategist kind of person. At least that's what he was doing. I don't know if you're still doing that. I think you also introduced me to the buy one give one concept, which I loved as well. And yeah, last but by no means least, Miss Lauren Tickner, who probably won't see this video, if I'm perfectly honest. Who I've known for quite a long time. I'm not quite sure how I ever first got to know you, but podcasting, Instagram, even did a little bit of stint working with Lauren about this time last year, actually. Doing some outreach work for her with some of her clients. So absolutely fantastic. 24-year-old lady today, who is making loads of money online, helping people out, helping people build their businesses and so forth. Good work that she does. I know a few people don't believe in what she does, but actually I think it's mostly it's okay. Always a bit dangerous to say things like that, isn't it? But all good stuff. And she had a bit of a realization the other time. She's been very big on chat. Oh God, what's it called? Clubhouse. Just recently. I can't get on very much because I've got Android, so I can only go on it when I borrow my dad's iPad. But yeah, there was a whole big feminist thing going on there yesterday, I think, or the day before yesterday anyway. And she had a bit of a realization moment, which is fantastic to watch on Instagram. So go and follow Lauren anyway. She's fantastic. Well worth watching what she's up to over in Dubai at the moment. So there you go. Yes, gosh, that was a bit of a long introduction and happy birthday, so sorry about that, guys. However, your life is like a car. Let's get back to that, shall we? So first of all, I want you to think about, because also the book of the day is The Greatest Secret. It's about it's like a follow-up to the movie The Secret and the book The Secret. There's bits of it I don't believe in, I don't really like very much, and bits of the audio that I listened to today I'm like, that's pushing it a little bit too far. There's also bits of it which are fantastic and really good and match what I teach as well, so I'm good with that. First thing I want to talk about is when we say always and never, either to somebody else or to ourselves, and I talked about this briefly yesterday's video. Try and change that so you say, I feel like this always happens, or I feel like this never happens to me, because it is actually a feeling inside yourself that that it is really, rather than always, because you can always find an exception to the rule. So and in fact I implore you to go and do that. So if you ever find yourself saying always or never about anything in particular, go and check yourself and see, well, is this actually always true, or is there at least one example somewhere in the universe or in my life that shows that this is not always true, or this never happens, something like that. So classic one I always use is people who say, I never win a raffle, and then you see them winning the raffle and you go, well, you can never say never again, because now you have, and then you'd be lying to yourself if you did in the future. So anyway, I'm getting off topic a little bit, so I want to start all that thing, because John Ausra also talks about how we have this kind of default positive or negative kind of outlook on life. People have these sort of, I'll always look for the negatives in life, or I'll always look for the positives in life, and it's a similar sort of thing. This always, see, there's the always word again. Our language is very important because we grow up with it, and it can really have a big effect on how we view and feel about the world around us. That's why I always talk about never use the word should, because should is really somebody else's belief about how you should behave. Much better to say I choose to, and then you're making choices, and you're becoming ace, which I'll talk about in a second. So John Assaraf was talking about how we have these negative and positive. It's kind of a law of polarity. You can either look for all the positives or you can look for all the negatives. But actually, when you find yourself thinking negatively or even positively, you can always find a negative about the positive, and you can always find a positive about the negative as well. So just be aware of that. So that then brings us on to being aware of ourselves, aware of our bodies. This is where the car analogy starts to come in as well. When you're driving a car, you have to be aware of everything that's going on around you. You have to be aware of the dashboard, the speedometer. You have to be aware of the lights on the dashboard, giving you indications as to what's happening in your life, what's going on in your world. And then they can give you good feedback as to what's happening. That's what's happening around you, because obviously if you're hitting a traffic jam, there's something stopped in front of you, you need to be able to be aware of that so you can stop. And of course, the same sort of thing, if you look in the rear view mirror and you're looking back at where you've come from all the time, then you can't see the accident that's in front of you, because or a car that stopped you, or the obstacle that's in front of you. If you can't see the obstacle in front of you because you're looking over your shoulder all the time, you're going to hit that obstacle, aren't you? So that's way hard. Life is like a car. But you've also got all those warning lights and stuff on the car as well. So talking about ACE. So this is they actually kind of talked about this in the audio book today, which is becoming. And I always talk about this. In the book, they talk about how you are. Awareness, that is who you are. It takes that analogy a little bit too far in my opinion, but what I always talk about is if you want to become ACE, A-C-E, then you have to become aware of what's going on in your life, aware of your thoughts, aware of your feelings, aware of your subconscious and your unconscious beliefs. Then you must make choices. This is where that should choices thing comes into it. You have to make choices to change to your life and make different choices and make different things happen in your life, and then you have to put in effort over time. Effort over time is the thing that gets your neural networks rebuilding itself, because you've been putting effort in over time negatively, if you're struggling with negativity over time, and you need to put more effort in over time to address that imbalance. We've talked before about pathways in the grass and so forth, where everybody's walking in the same pathway, and in order to be able to walk a different pathway, you have to walk a different route, and the more you walk the different routes, the more the pathway gets worn out in the grass, and that stuff. So you've heard me speaking about these things before, but I wanted to get back to the car analogy slightly, because I quite like this concept of how when something happens in your life, something bad happens in your life, something kind of trips you up or alerts you and so forth, alert comes up on the dashboard and so forth, you slam your brakes on, boom, and you go, whoa, what's happening in my life? Or your body does it for you automatically. I was ill last weekend. That was because I didn't sleep hardly at all last week. So last weekend my body went, shut down, stop, brake. It was showing me alarms. Now a lot of people said, did you have COVID? I was like, no, I just didn't sleep, and my body caught up with me and didn't like it very much at all. Hello Philip, welcome to the viewing, hope you're well. So my body shut down, so I had the brakes went on, crikey, or the obstacle in front of your life. If you're looking in the rear view mirror and then you're looking forward and there's the obstacle, the traffic jam in front of you, slam your brakes on, stop, and then you've got to get going again as well. And then so you put yourself into first gear, and that's your fight, flight, and freeze kind of. So the freeze has kind of already happened, and then you've got to decide whether you want to fight or flight, effectively. He talked about a feint as well, which is quite interesting. I'm not sure about that one. I'll have to look into that a little bit more. But if essentially you put your foot on the accelerator and you start moving forward. Now, this is in a stick shift car or a geared car, not an automatic. Because an automatic will do the gear changing for you, but just try and imagine that the automatic is also doing this for you, but it's just doing it automatically for you. So that's where the analogy doesn't break down a little bit in this respect. But you put your foot on the accelerator to go forward, but you can't just put your foot on the accelerator. You get going. It gets you out of the situation you're in at the moment where it's difficult. I'm just going to go over my 10 minutes. This is really annoying. It gets you going slightly, but you can't just put your foot on the accelerator and keep going. You have to clutch. You have to take your foot off the accelerator, put your foot on the clutch, change the gears, and then put your foot back on the accelerator again. And that's what's happening in our lives when that happens. We need to just take a pause and then go again. And eventually we can get up into fifth gear, which is when we're in flow, and we can start to realise that our lives are now really flowing well, and things are working out really well for us. So, sorry, I've kind of run out of time already on this. I'm probably gone over the 10 minutes already, so I'm going to have to wind up now and then just kind of cut this again. Every time I have to cut these things for Instagram, it really annoys me because it just wastes time for me. So I need to get this 10-minute thing nailed, really. But I think that's when I always try and fit a few too many topics into the 10 minutes. That's when I run into problems. Also, it doesn't help when the timer isn't working properly at the beginning because I don't know how long I've actually got left. It just says 10 minutes now, but I'm pretty sure I've gone to 10 minutes 30 already. Good morning, Lucy. So you're in a car. Don't look in the rearview mirror too much because you won't see the obstacles in front of you. You've got a dashboard of lights, and when the lights come on, you have to be aware of them. Sometimes you have to put your brake on to stop. Sometimes your body does it for you automatically. Your engine blows up, for example. And then well, it's not going to really work so much, is it? But anyway, maybe you put water in the engine. It's a bad analogy. I need to think that one through a little bit more. But the idea is you then put your foot on the accelerator to get going. First gear, fight or flight. But you can't stay there. You've got to move into second gear. So you've got to take your foot off the accelerator. You've got to allow your body to calm down a little bit, take a few deep breaths, relax, be aware of what's going on, change gears, foot on the clutch, change the gear into second, then put your foot on the accelerator and go a bit faster. And then do the same thing to get into third gear, same thing to get into fourth gear, and eventually get into fifth gear. Or fourth gear if you've only got four wheels on your car. But fifth gear is like cruise, kind of the idea there. So you're now in flow. So now your life is flowing and everything's going really well. You're paying attention to what's going on in front of you. You're glancing in the rearview mirror just to check back to the things that you set yourself up for in the past. You're learning from those lessons and making sure you don't do those lessons again. But you're focused mostly on the goals ahead of you. And the other thing I was going to fit into this one, which I obviously didn't have time for in the 10 minutes, but I may as well finish off the topic now, is to focusing on what you're doing right now as well. So the long-term goal, keep an eye on the long-term goals. This is something that came from Evan Carmichael, whose top 10 list is in the description. Long-term goals, obviously when you're driving along the road, it's best not to look at what's right in front of you. Best to look way down the road and see what's going on over there, but be aware of what's happening right in front of you. So a good driver will look down the road, look through the other cars and see what's happening up ahead. So they'll see traffic jams before the car in front of them hits their brakes, and they'll see them, they'll back off slightly before the car in front of them hits their brakes on. And that's what a good driver will do. And they'll teach you this in advanced driving classes and so forth. So you look at the far goal in the distance, long way off, but you're aware of what's happening in front of you. So you're kind of focused on all your dashboard and so forth, and the cars in front of you and so forth. But your vision is fixed in the way off in the future. But what you're really most aware of is what you're actually doing right now. You're changing your gears, you're braking, all this kind of stuff, and even maybe something happening in your car as well. The GPS thing telling you which direction to go. Am I going left or am I going right at this point? At the next roundabout, take the first left. At the next roundabout, take the next right. All that kind of stuff. Those arrows that are pointing you in the right direction. If you've ever heard one of my talks about the Camino, these are the little arrows that point you in the right direction. This is law of attraction stuff we get into now as well, where you set your intention, your goal, your GPS system, and then people are talking behind me. You set the GPS system, and then it'll take you and it'll tell you which direction to go. And if there's a diversion, it'll find your way around the diversion. When you're on the Camino, you have these yellow arrows absolutely everywhere pointing you in a direction. And if you're not paying attention to the way you're going, you'll miss the yellow arrows, and maybe you'll miss a turning to the right, and you'll just carry on walking straight. And then you'll get off track, and you've got to find your way back. You go backtrack and find the yellow arrows and put them off. But if you've never been on the Camino before, and you went to one of the towns that are on the Camino, Astorga, for example, or where they run the bill, where they do the running of the rules, running of the bulls, you'll find these little yellow arrows and these little shells in the road all over the place, and they're to tell people on the Camino where to go through the town. But if you're not aware of that, then you see these things and you go, what's this little yellow arrow for? What is it indicating? You may not even see the yellow arrow because you're not paying attention to it, because your brain is not focused on that particular goal at that particular time. And so these signs that are pushing you in the right direction are meaningless to you if you're not walking the Camino, for example. So yeah, hopefully that's a good example. Obviously I need to expand that thought a little bit more, make that into a little bit more sense. And shorten it down to 10 minutes because I've gone almost 15 minutes now. Terrible. But there you go. Lessons to be learned for the future. There you go. Okay, right. Take care, everybody. Love you all. Have a lovely Wednesday. Is it Wednesday today? Lost track. Wednesday. Yeah, happy Wednesday, everybody. Send love out into the world. Remember, if you want to become ace, become aware of your thoughts and your feelings, make some choices to change, then put some effort in over time. That's becoming ace. And remember, your life is like a car. Brakes, accelerators, futures, and all that kind of stuff. Watch the rest of the video if you want to know more about that analogy. From about 4 or 5 minutes in, because I did waffle a little bit at the beginning talking about Lauren and people whose birthdays it were today. Okay, cool. Happy birthday, everybody. Take care. Remember, every day is your birthday. Welcome to the first day of the rest of your life. Take care. Bye for now. How do I hang up? Oh, that's interesting. I can't go. There's no hang up button on my screen. Oh, the hill people. Hello, Mark. So I had the editor up on my screen because of the problem I had a little bit earlier on. And I didn't see that Sally was watching, Mark was watching, and Claire was watching. Happy birthday to you guys. Hope you're having a lovely Wednesday and see you all soon. Happy birthday to Mark from last Saturday, I think it was, in particular. Bye for now.